If you stopped taking HRT or never started because of something you heard about breast cancer or heart disease, I need you to watch this entire video. Because what most women were told in the early 2000s was based on a study that has since been significantly reinterpreted. And the women paying the price for that misinterpretation are still out there today, suffering symptoms that are treatable, losing bone density that does not come back, and being told by their doctors that there is nothing safe to offer them. That is not fully accurate, and you deserve to know why. The fear around hormone replacement therapy did not come from nowhere. It came from a real study published in a real medical journal, covered by every major news outlet in America. But the way that study was reported, and the way it was applied to all women of all ages, in all circumstances, was a profound failure of medical communication. And women have been paying for it ever since. Today, I'm going to give you the full picture, not the headline, the full picture. Subscribe because the next video might say years of frustration. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 things every woman over 50 needs to understand about HRT and the current research, including one piece of information, the timing hypothesis, that most women have never heard, that most doctors do not explain, and that I believe would change the entire HRT conversation for millions of women if it were properly understood. By the time we finish today, you are going to understand exactly what the 2002 study actually said and what it did not say. You are going to understand the real risks of HRT in honest, contextual numbers. And you are going to understand the risks of not taking HRT, because that side of the equation is almost never discussed. And you are going to leave with specific questions to bring to your doctor at your very next appointment. Stay with me, this matters. If you stopped taking HRT or never started because of something you heard about breast cancer or heart disease, I need you to watch this entire video. Because what most women were told in the early 2000s was based on a study that has since been significantly reinterpreted. Number 1, what the 2002 WHI study actually said, and what it didn't. In July 2002, the Women's Health Initiative published findings from one of the largest hormone therapy trials ever conducted. The headlines that followed were immediate and alarming. HRT causes breast cancer. HRT causes heart attacks. Women should stop immediately. Millions did. Almost overnight, HRT prescriptions in the United States dropped by more than half. Here's what the headlines left out. The average age of the women in that study was 63. The majority of participants were more than 10 years past their last menstrual period. They were not the newly menopausal women in their early 50s that most HRT prescriptions are written for. They were older women, many of whom already had underlying cardiovascular conditions, and they were given a specific synthetic combination of hormones, conjugated equine estrogen combined with a synthetic progestin called medroxyprogesterone acetate, at doses that are not standard today. When the results were applied universally to all women, regardless of age, regardless of how recently they had gone through menopause, regardless of what type of hormone therapy might be used, the medical nuance was lost entirely in translation. The researchers themselves have since acknowledged that the original findings were over-applied. Multiple reanalyses of the WHI data, including a major 2013 publication and subsequent updates, have shown that the risk picture looks fundamentally different when you separate younger, recently menopausal women from older women who started hormones a decade or more after menopause. What can you do with this? At your next appointment, you can say, I understand the WHI study raised concerns about HRT, but I have read that the findings look different for women who are closer to menopause. I would like to discuss whether that applies to my situation. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the piece of information I promised you at the beginning. Number 2, the timing hypothesis. The most important thing your doctor may never have told you. The timing hypothesis is the single most important concept in the modern HRT conversation, and it is the one most women have never heard. Here is what it means. Research, including reanalyses of the original WHI data and multiple independent studies since, suggests that the cardiovascular and cognitive risks associated with HRT look significantly different depending on when a woman starts therapy relative to her menopause. Women who begin HRT within 10 years of their last menstrual period, or before the age of 60, appear to have a meaningfully different risk profile than women who begin HRT more than 10 years after menopause. For women in that earlier window, starting HRT is not associated with increased cardiovascular risk. and some data suggests it may actually be protective for the heart and brain during that transition period. Why would timing matter this much? The current thinking is that estrogen's protective effects on blood vessels and brain tissue are most accessible when those tissues have not yet undergone prolonged estrogen deprivation. Once the body has been without estrogen for a significant period of time, the biological environment has changed, and introducing hormones into that changed environment may carry different implications. This does not mean every woman under 60 should start HRT. It means the conversation is far more nuanced than a blanket warning applied to all women at all ages. And if you are a woman in your early to mid-50s within 10 years of your menopause who has been told HRT is simply too risky, the timing hypothesis is something your physician should be discussing with you. What can you do with this? Ask your doctor directly. Based on my age and how recently I went through menopause, am I within the timing window where the risk profile for HRT looks different? Can we look at this together? This next one surprises most of my patients because nobody frames it this way. Number 3, the real risks of HRT. Honest, unexaggerated, and in context. I want to be completely straight with you about this because I think women deserve honesty, not reassurance that glosses over real considerations. There are legitimate risks associated with certain forms of HRT, and they need to be on the table. Combined HRT, estrogen plus a synthetic progestin, is associated with a modest increase in breast cancer risk with extended use. The most frequently cited figure from the WHI data suggests approximately 8 additional cases of breast cancer per 10,000 women per year of use. That is a real number. It should be discussed. But it should also be compared. An absolute number versus a relative percentage tells a very different story, and most women are given the relative percentage without the absolute context. For comparison, being sedentary, drinking 2 glasses of wine per night, or being significantly overweight each carry comparable or greater breast cancer risk increases than combined HRT. That is not to minimize the HRT risk. It is to give you the honest context your decision deserves. Oral estrogen, estrogen taken as a pill, carries a small increased risk of blood clots. Transdermal estrogen, meaning estrogen delivered through a patch or gel applied to the skin, does not appear to carry the same clot risk. This distinction matters, and it is one many women and even some physicians are not aware of. Women who have had a prior hormone-sensitive breast cancer, certain clotting disorders, or active liver disease have specific contraindications that must be evaluated individually with their physician. What can you do? Ask your doctor to walk you through your personal risk profile, not a generic population risk. Ask specifically, what is my absolute risk increase, not just my relative risk? And is transdermal estrogen an option for me? Pay close attention to this next one. It is the part of the conversation that almost never happens. Number 4, the real risks of not taking HRT, the side nobody talks about. When a woman and her doctor discuss HRT, the risks of taking it are almost always laid out. The risks of not taking it almost never are. That asymmetry is a problem. Here is what the research tells us about untreated menopause. Bone loss accelerates sharply in the first 5 years after menopause. A woman can lose up to 20% of her bone density in that window. Estrogen is the primary protector of bone in women. HRT is one of the most effective interventions we have for preserving bone density and reducing fracture risk. Cardiovascular risk in women rises significantly after menopause. Estrogen has protective effects on the vascular system. The postmenopausal increase in heart disease risk in women is directly tied to estrogen loss, and for women in the appropriate timing window, HRT may help mitigate that transition. There is also emerging and compelling research on the estrogen-brain connection. The brain has estrogen receptors. Estrogen deprivation during the menopausal transition has been associated in multiple studies with increased risk of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease in women. Women develop Alzheimer's at approximately twice the rate of men, and the hormonal transition is believed to be a contributing factor. Quality of life is not a minor consideration either. Severe hot flashes, sleep disruption, mood instability, vaginal atrophy, and sexual dysfunction are not trivial symptoms. They affect relationships, work performance, mental health, and physical well-being. They are treatable. Leaving them untreated because of a misapplied headline is not a neutral choice. It is a choice with real consequences. What can you do? Ask your doctor. Can we talk about what is at stake for my bone health and heart health if I do not address the hormonal transition? I want to understand both sides of this decision. Now we are getting to the part I think will genuinely change something for you. Number 5, how to have the HRT conversation with your doctor. What to ask and what to bring. Knowledge without action is just information. So let me give you the exact tools to take this conversation into your doctor's office. First, know that you have the right to a full conversation about HRT. If your physician dismisses the topic without discussion, you are entitled to ask why, to request a referral to a menopause specialist, or to seek a second opinion. The Menopause Society, formerly known as NAMS, maintains a directory of certified menopause practitioners across the United States. That is a resource I encourage every woman watching this to know about. Second, bring specific questions. Here are the 5 I recommend most. 1. Based on my age and the timing of my menopause, am I within the window where the risk-benefit profile of HRT is most favorable? 2. What type of HRT would you consider? Combined or estrogen only, and oral or transdermal? Why? 3. What is my personal absolute risk increase for breast cancer with the type of HRT you would recommend? 4. What are the risks to my bones, heart, and cognitive health if I do not address the hormonal transition? 5. How long would you recommend I stay on HRT, and how would we monitor it? Third, if your physician has not updated their knowledge on HRT since the early 2000s, that matters. The clinical consensus has shifted. The Menopause Society, the British Menopause Society, and the European Menopause and Andropause Society have all issued updated guidance supporting the use of HRT for appropriate candidates. You can reference this directly. Part 5. Empowerment Close. I want to end by saying something directly to you. You are not at the mercy of a 20-year-old headline. The research has moved, the clinical consensus has moved, and you deserve a doctor who has moved with it. The goal of this video was never to tell you that HRT is right for you. I do not know your full medical history. Only your physician does. But I did want to give you something that too many women have been denied. The complete picture, the nuance, the honest accounting of both sides of this decision. You are not powerless here. You are now one of the women who walks into that appointment informed, who knows what questions to ask, who understands that the conversation is more complex than what was in the headlines, and who can advocate for herself with confidence. That is everything. That is exactly what this channel is for. If this video gave you something useful today, whether it is a question to bring to your doctor, a piece of research you had never heard, or simply the validation that your confusion about this topic was completely justified, I would love for you to subscribe. I post every week for women who want real, honest answers about their health after 50. And if you know a woman in your life who has been afraid of HRT or who was taken off it and never understood why, please share this video with her. She may have been waiting for exactly this conversation.